the National Legends Cars Championship in association with Park Lane Cars. Welcome along to the second programme in the 2022 National Legends Cars Championship. We are at a sunny Brands Hatch circuit in Kent, a track that always delivers a tight circuit, and we've got a full grid of cars. Championship after Alton Park, headed by Jack Parker. He's not here this weekend, more to that story later on. Marcus Pett in second place from Sean Smith and Miles Rudman, with Steve Whiteleg and John Mickle completing the top six. Preparations are underway in the paddock. And let's join Chris, who is down there getting the latest gossip, with Mark Beatty.
Mark, how are you looking forward to Brands Hatch?
Really looking forward to it, especially after this morning we've drawn on the front row. P are drawn out one this morning, so looking forward to that. And the weather's lovely as well, the track's nice and warm, and just a good weekend.
Brands is a bit of a different beast. Does that suit you more than Alton Park does?
Well, we'd never been to Alton before. That was our first time that we as a team had been there. So obviously we had to try and find our feet, and then we had a few electrical issues which hampered us a little bit. We had a DNF on the final, which brought us back in the points a little bit, but we've been here a few times. We do well this morning, 5th fastest in qualifying, so out of 29 cars, I'll go with that. So yeah, good start.
So we've spoken to one of the Beatty brothers. We now got Kieran Beatty, pilot of the number 33. So you had a bit of a better run at Alton Park, so it puts you quite handily in the top 10 of the championship. You must be quite pleased with it.
Yeah, it was a tad unexpected. I was expecting to be sort of around 15, 16, so to finish top 10. Over the moon, to be fair. First time I've never had a test as well this time, so saved us a little bit of money this weekend.
So you looking forward to Brands? How did your actual time qualifying go?
I think I managed to get 7th fastest, which again is, sort of was fairly unexpected. I didn't get a test yesterday, so I was out with. I was following people, managed to get into a good groove. The tyres came on really well. Obviously, the weather's beautiful, so no, it was really good. Really good. I think it should put us in good stead for the race, I think.
And number 79 pilot Marcus Pett, second in the championship. What a great way to start the season.
Yeah, it was a really positive weekend for us at Alton Park, and yeah, some really solid results, and hopefully we can build on that this weekend at Brands Hatch.
So it's a very different circuit here. Brands Indy obviously very short, whereas Alton Park's much more twisty. Do you have to change much in the car, or how you drive this particular circuit?
Yeah, we make a few subtle changes here and there, and obviously the driving style is very different. Alton's probably a much more technical, old school style of circuit. So yeah, this is a completely different challenge, but yeah, we're ready for it this weekend, so let's hope for a good one.
Sean Smith, pilot of the number 21, third in the championship. What a stunning start to the season over in Alton Park.
Yeah, it was a good weekend really. I mean, we only tested the Friday, raced the Saturday, so it was only a one-day one. But we had some good finishes, consistent, no damage. So I'm coming away with some good points.
Consistency is king in a championship like this, where the grids are often very mixed up. What are you looking forward to here in Brands Hatch?
I think we're going to do the same again, really. We just need to finish. It is literally finish, work our way forward and pick up as many points as we can without any damage.
So where did the qualifying draw put you?
We are right in the middle of the pack. So row 5, so we've got 2 middle pack starts, and then we'll see how far we can work forward, ready for the final.
Nathan Anthony, local man to these parts. Is the local advantage going to be with you today? You had a great start in Alton Park. The race 2 and 3 didn't quite go as well, but it was so close to the podium.
Yeah, we had a good start. First race to get a 4th place finish in the first round was good, and obviously we got up to 5th in the second race. Got taken out by somebody else, and then in the final exactly the same happened. We got up there and then we got pushed back again. But yeah, the home advantage here, yeah, that does help. Definitely does help. It's we've had some good luck here and we've had some bad luck here. We had a big accident here back on the last round, on a Speedfest round last year, where we had totaled a car, so we had to rebuild a car. So yeah, we're hoping that our luck will carry on from Alton actually on the first race. So we'll wait and see.
Nathan drew a 4th row position in the morning's briefing. James Newbury, one of a couple of drivers that elects to start off the back, along with 333 Bill Reid. Pole position though goes to John Mickle. He drew pole and will be off the back of the grid in race 2. Mark Beatty alongside row 2, Marcus Pett and Miles Rudman. Row 3, Gary Whiteleg and Jonty Norman. A lot of work has gone on since Alton Park for many of the drivers, including this man, Will Gibson, who has a brand new car built up. Ahead of him is Andy Bird, who wrote his car off at Alton Park in race 3. Now, that's not a new car, brand new car, but it is a new car for Andy, the ex-Glenn Burtonshaw car, which has been sourced from Scotland. So Andy Bird and several of the teams making a lot of effort to get on the grid here at Brands. And we're ready to race. Mickle and Mark Beatty on the front row of the grid. Mickle gets away well. Tucking up into second, I think, is Marcus Pett. Miles Rudman in black goes for the outside of Paddock Hill Bend. Thinks better of it, tucks back in. 5th position, Gary Whiteleg at the moment. Jonty Norman being passed by the Savan of Nathan Anthony as they go up to Druids for the first time. All sorts of lines being used as they go around Druids. 3 wide, absolutely superb. They can probably go 4 wide, but 3 do it safely. Change for 3rd, Miles Rudman passing Mark Beatty. Then it's Nathan Anthony. Jonty Norman is 6th at the moment. Here's the view from Chris Brockhurst. 2nd-year driver comes from Sussex. And it's John Mickle, the race leader. Kieran Beatty in orange goes wide. Jonty Norman did as well. Chris Brockhurst came out in sympathy, I think, rejoins. Kieran Beatty's rejoined, but it's got Will Gibson in black and blue right behind him. Chris Needham on the inside. Needham passes Gibson. Gibson will pass Kieran Beatty now to go through. Wonderful weather here at Brands Hatch. Ideal for Legends racing. Huge crowd watching the racing today. There'll be an even bigger crowd for event 3 tomorrow, which is the main race day of the weekend. Legends have 2-day race meetings normally. Alton Park the exception this year, just running on the Saturday. So again through Alton, it's a recovery job to do now for the Park Lane Cars machine of Kieran Beatty. 14th, 9th and 13th in the first round at Alton Park for Kieran. Jonty Norman is next. Nick Bridgman in the 68 car. Runs his own team these days, does Nick Bridgman. Won at Cadwell Park last year and settling into this race very nicely indeed. Daniel Clark, former champion, is in the 14. Runs a tad wide. Mike Schlupp looking to go up the inside of him, but it's Schlupp's teammate John Mickle out front. Marcus Pett in 2nd. Pett, the top driver in the championship racing with us this weekend. We'll tell you more about Jack Parker's story a little bit later on, as I promised. Sean Smith, therefore, 2nd top scorer at this meeting. Miles Rudman 3rd in the points after a DNF in race 2 at Alton Park. And quite how Miles Rudman was 4th in the table after Alton Park after 1 DNF, I don't know. What I do know, he scored a podium and a win, so he scored very well indeed. Andy Bird did too, and there's problems there at Druids. Just departing shot is Luke Tukashis, the newcomer. Ben Higgins gets going as well, and I think Luke Simmons was involved. Replay from James Newbury's car. That looks like, I think that's Bill Reid locking up to the left of shot in reaction to those cars spinning at Druids. You see that, there is Bill. Marshall's doing sterling work to get him out of the gravel. That will avoid for the moment the safety car as John Mickle is challenged by Marcus Pett. High and wide there for Miles Rudman in 3rd place. Rudman looking to try and get some momentum, which he does up Halewood Hill, and the door is open and Rudman goes into 2nd. Here we are, in car with Marcus Pett. Now Rudman, that was all about the momentum from Paddock Hill Bend, had a lovely wide line there and the door was effectively open. Marcus Pett though, as we saw at Alton Park, just because there's an overtake doesn't mean it's game over. It could be. Now Daniel Pulley. Good to see Daniel Pulley racing with us this weekend, looking for his first finish. The ex-Short Oval Grand Prix Midget Racing champion, dicing there with Matthew Knight, who is a guest driver this weekend. And Daniel didn't get any finishes at Alton, so we'll hopefully get them on the card this weekend. In car with Will Gibson. and looking to pass Mark Beatty. Side by side they go. Gibson is making it hard for himself on the outside as they come into Paddock Hill Bend. Steve Whiteleg in red is there as well, plus the 99 of Chris Needham. So Gibson has passed Needham. Needham on the inside of Steve Whiteleg, and indeed on the inside of Mark Beatty. Very, very competitive racing this, as the likes of Gibson and Needham try to get up with the lead group. The lead quartet headed by Mickle from Rudman Pett. Little bit of a gap to Nathan Anthony running strongly in the Savannah in 4th place. And this is the view along Cooper Straight. Into the left-hander at Surtees, right-hander at McLaren, continue right through Clearways and Clark Curve. Sean Smith in white there, the number 21. Now Kieran Beatty's caught up well after his excursion. I tell you what, if he hadn't have had that, he'd have possibly been up with the lead group. He's done a very good recovery here as Kieran Beatty, so the Beatty brothers are going to engage in a bit of battling here. Bump drafting with his brother, looks to the inside at Paddock Hill Bend, but it's a nice sweep for Mark Beatty, who holds position there in his chase of Sean Smith. Still a trio for the lead, and you can see what I mean. Marcus Pett hasn't been dropped by the lead trio, and he's in the less pressured situation out of all 3 drivers here. He can watch, he can learn. Sure, he wants to be in front, particularly when the checkered flag comes out, but having said that, for the moment he knows that he's got laps to go, and he can observe maybe where the weak spots of, if there are any, of these 2 drivers out front are. 4th position still Nathan Anthony, but coming under pressure from the black and blue of Will Gibson, who's come through well. Then Chris Needham, leaders out of Clark Curve and onto the Brabham Straight once again. Miles Rudman edging closer towards the number 4 car. These multi-champions side by side, and Rudman on the outside. He's done it as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. Marcus Pett is next up and chasing them. John Mickle grabs a little bit of curb. Marcus Pett is 3rd. Mickle's going to have a go under the Burton Power Bridge, looks at the outside. Rudman covers the line on the way into Druid, so Marcus Pett 3rd, John Mickle ahead of him in 2nd, and Miles Rudman is in the race lead here, but a change for 4th because Will Gibson managed to get past Nathan Anthony with this move down the inside into 4th. John Mickle wants the lead back, goes to the outside of Miles Rudman. That's exactly what Miles did to him earlier on in the race. Marcus Pett still in 3rd in very close proximity. You can see inch perfect over the curves, grabbing a little bit of curb, but not dishevelling the car at all as they go up into Druids again. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th position all closing in now as well. Will Gibson heading the chasing drivers. So Will in 4th, and Miles Rudman will want the lead back. John Mickle is under pressure here. Rudman has a little look to the inside, closing up on Bill Reid in the 333 car. That's the car that we saw the marshals getting out of the gravel. So Bill under a bit of pressure. Will Gibson, 4th place, on board with Will, out of Clark Curve, trying to close in on the lead trio. I guess he feels that a podium is within his reach as the top 3 are jockeying for positions. Closing up on Bill Reid. Superb driving by Bill Reid, right to the outside, lets the lead battle through. It's not just the front runners that are great drivers, we've got some really good gentleman drivers in the mix as well. The gentleman drivers, the group starts off the back, a term I think coined by Legends boss Phil Cooper. And of course we had Gerard McCosh, who ran as a gentleman for many years, the late great Gerard McCosh, all fondly remembered still at the Legends paddock. And the senior award, the Masters Trophy, is named the Gerard McCosh Napoleon Trophy, and Sean Smith defending that title this year. Back with the race leaders though, and it's still John Mickle out front, Miles Rudman in 2nd, Marcus Pett 3rd, Will Gibson is in 4th, 5th position now is Chris Needham. One more lap to go here at Brands Hatch, and it's Mickle under big pressure now from Miles Rudman as they cross the line. Will Gibson chasing that 3rd place, goes to the outside at Paddock, gets his nose in front of Marcus Pett. Is he going to make it stick? He's done it. The 57 car is through and onto a podium. Marcus Pett is in 4th, but he's going to return the favour on the outside as they go into Druids. Out of Druids, down Graham Hill, into Graham Hill Bend, and it's John Mickle still out front. Miles Rudman is going to be under pressure now from Will Gibson. Gibson in turn under pressure from Marcus Pett. the win is going to come from one of these 4 cars, and Mickle looking good for it at the moment. In car with Gibson, 3rd place. Into Surtees. Miles Rudman actually doesn't look under pressure, if I'm perfectly honest. He's trying to get past John Mickle, and right on his back bumper we've got a new lap record, I can tell you. That's Kieran Beatty, but here's the run to the flag. 4th position, Marcus Pett, down to the checker. John Mickle will lead them down to the checker flag, but here comes Miles Rudman, side by side. Rudman gets it on the line. 3 cars, side by side by side. Rudman, Mickle, Gibson, Marcus Pett was 4th. Chris Needham is next from Steve Whiteleg, then Nathan Anthony in 7th from Kieran and Mark Beatty. A tangle. Luke Takushis is collected by Matthew Knight. Luke is going to rejoin in 25th place. James Newberry busy chasing them, so James is after a position. Here he's going to challenge on the inside as they go down into Graham Hill Bend. It was a good recovery from Matthew Knight, be kicking himself for that. Luke Takushis though will get his first finish. Tell you what, every single driver that started the race is going to finish. Absolutely superb stuff. We saw Bill Reid. James Newberry is 27th head of Bill Reid and still challenging Matthew Knight as they come out of clearways. There's racing absolutely everywhere in the field here in the 28 cars, and Newberry's going to tee up and see if he can do a Miles Rudman here. He can't quite do it, and it's Matthew Knight that gets that 26th position. Miles Rudman though is already down in Parc Ferme to go through scrutiny. Rudman the winner from John Mickle and Will Gibson, Marcus Pett 4th from Chris Needham and Steve Whiteleg. Nathan Anthony next from Kieran Beatty, who gets a new lap record. Mark Beatty in 9th from Sean Smith, 10th. 11th was Nick Bridgman, and then 12th Charlie Budd from Mike Schlupp and Paul Simmons. Daniel Clark and Gary Whiteleg next from Andy Bird in his new car. Then John T. Norman and Chris Brockhurst. 20th was Luke Simmons, top rookie in that race from Ollie Schlupp. Then Daniel Budd, Ben Higgins, Daniel Pulley, Luke Takushis, Matthew Knight, James Newberry and Bill Reid.
Well, Miles, that's a way to start the season. 3 of you side by side over the line.
Yeah,
Truth alive.
very close, I'll be honest. I wasn't sure if I won it then, but I felt like I was just slightly in front. But yeah, that was a cracking race, yeah, so glad I won.
Well, that's a way to start the season. Struth, that was so close.
Yeah, I take it we got second, did we?
By not even a tenth of a second.
Really? No, it was close. He just got a better run on me last bend, and he just got down the outside, and it was one of them unlucky things, but never mind. First one, it's a good result, so we got it from there.
Well, Struth alive. That was some blink of an eye separated all 3 of you.
Yeah, that was close. Our throttle was sticking open through that race, which probably made me even quicker than I normally am. It's a bit hairy going into paddock when the thing's wide open, you're on the brakes trying to stop it. But yeah, it's a good race, really happy. Come 18th to 3rd, yeah, it's perfect. We've had a tough couple of weeks. A lot of help from our sponsors, Black House Developments, Blue Sky CADs, TWG. We built a brand new car and the thing's a rocket ship.
We are speaking to the man in charge of the ship. It's Phil Cooper. Give us a few words on the growth of the series. I mean, the grid's so packed now with so many returning drivers. It's testament to how popular the series has become.
Yeah, it has to be a surprise in my mind as well, because we went through a few lean years a number of years ago, thinking that was kind of could be the end, who knows, but all of a sudden it's just exploded. It's like the very beginning of a super series. 28 years. I had a plan to do it for 3 years, and here I am still chugging away, just getting older, but still enjoying it.
And a particular story that you mentioned to us before we got on air of Jack Parker, the current championship leader. So for our viewers, what was his story?
Well, Jack had a really good weekend at Alton Park 2 weeks ago, and he did break the news that the baby was due from his partner any second. And lo and behold, it's arrived on Friday, and the baby's name is Starlet, a little girl, which we're of course delighted for Jack and his partner.
You know, you've got such a packed lineup ahead of you, wonderful tracks, and again the grid is just getting stronger and stronger. Is there a particular highlight that is in your mind for the series?
Maximum as far as registrations for the championship this year. Unfortunately, I had to turn a few people away, but that means there is still demand. Therefore, when we come to the end of this season, I expect a few people to be knocking on my door to say, now is my turn, you know. But no, it's gone from strength to strength over the course of the pandemic period, by demand, but now we're back at it 100%, and it's proven the point that the series is here to stay.
So then, starting on the front row for race number 2 is the car 51, Paul Simmons. You drew 20th first off, which puts you in pole position. How are you feeling ahead of race number 2?
Yeah, it should be good. We'll just see how we get through the traffic and see how it goes. We should be all right if we can get the front. But yeah, so wheels behind me, so he'll be pushing. So yeah, no, it should be all right.
You have to kind of mind your own business, knowing there may well be a few quicker drivers behind you, or is it really survival of the fittest? You've got to make them work for it.
Yeah, you just got to make it work. You should either work with someone and just try and get away from the rest of the pack, and hopefully that will work for us, but we will see.
Sixth on the grid is Chris Brockhurst. We're in car with Chris. To his inside is Andy Bird. In front of us, the white car is Charlie Budd, fourth on the grid. Third, next to him in black and blue, is Will Gibson. And the front row of the grid, pole position, light blue, Paul Simmons. And then Daniel Budd. The Budd brothers heading towards the line on the outside run here. Budd Brothers, the musical, coming soon as well, no doubt, for the Legends end of year party. Here we go, getting ready for lights out. Race 2 of the first of 3 meetings at Brands Hatch this year. Charlie Budd makes a cracker, goes round the outside of his brother and looking for second place to go into paddock, but it's Paul Simmons the race leader, Charlie Budd second, Will Gibson third, then it's Daniel Budd followed by Andy Bird side by side here with Chris Brockhurst under the Burton Bridge. On the brakes, Andy Bird, well, there's a gap on the inside, and fellow ex-supercarter Chris Needham going through in black and red on the inside. Needham up to fourth. Budd challenges Simmons for the lead, grabs a little bit of dirt there, that won't help his cause. And if it scrubbed any speed off, that's going to be to the advantage of Will Gibson, who's looking for second at the front of the group. So going to the left-hander, Gibson up into P2. Paul Simmons, though, the race leader, former Masters champion Paul Simmons. There is Kieran Beatty in 33. Oh, and contact there! Nathan Ensign's rear-ended in the Savannah, and he is in the gravel. That's not going to get out very quickly. Will Gibson, now no yellows being shown here, so Gibson can challenge for and indeed take the lead. Chris Needham challenging for third, so Paul Simmons relieved of the lead there by Will Gibson. Simmons now second, Gibson the leader. Here's a replay as they go through clearways, and it was a lot of bunching there. Whether you call that first lap bunching or otherwise, I don't know, but ultimately bunching resulted in contact. Nathan Anthony, rear end up, and I'll tell you what, everybody getting the message now about the safety car and waving to slow each other down so that the marshals can work safely on Nathan Anthony's car. So Nathan's car embedded in the gravel. It's not going to be a marshal's push as we saw in Bill Reid in race number 1. There is Nathan's car. It's going to be some mechanical help to get him out. Safety car lights have gone out, so it's Will Gibson from Paul Simmons, Chris Needham in third, Charlie Budd fourth. Steve Whiteleg did well on lap number 1. He's just ahead of Chris Brockhurst, and it's the responsibility of Will Gibson to pace everybody down towards lights out. Safety car is in, and Will's doing an admirable job at the moment. Blue skies, wonderful racing conditions here. Chris Brockhurst chasing Steve Whiteleg, who had 8th, 7th and 8th at Alton Park, and he bettered that in race 1 with that 6th place, so he'll be looking for another good result here as Will Gibson powered up well in time there. Great restart from Will Gibson from Paul Simmons. Chris Needham is in third. Through Paddock Hill Bend they go for the first time. Andy Bird, I think, side by side with Miles Rudman, so Miles making some ground up as well, but it's Gibson now challenge on for second. Simmons coming under pressure from Needham. Chris Brockhurst under pressure and indeed passed by Miles Rudman. It was Miles dicing with Andy Bird, who's now going to be passed by the 21 of Sean Smith. John Mickle goes through on the inside as well. Here's Marcus Pett going through on the inside. Pett makes up a position here in race 2. a pass on for second position, and Chris Needham takes the inside run down to Paddock Hill Bend to grab second from Paul Simmons in the 51 car. So we've seen passes on the inside and the outside now. Miles Rudman chasing Charlie Budd, then it's Steve Whiteleg in red, John Mickle in the silver number 4. Getting away in the lead though is Will Gibson. Very close wherever you look here, apart from the race leader. Will Gibson has taken the opportunity from row 2 to build a bit of a lead, and that's going to come in very handy for him. So along Cooper Straight go the chasers, and it's Chris Needham in second position now. Paul Simmons trying to fight back in third. Charlie Budd is in 4th place. Charlie from Henley-on-Thames in the white car. Miles Rudman, the Midlander, next up in car number 1. Picks up a bit of a bump draft from the 44 car. They'll work together down the straight here. Now what's Rudman going to do? Is he going to break ranks? Yes, he does. Looks to the inside. Should get that move completed. Yes, he does. So Miles Rudman up into 4th place. Charlie Budd 5th. 6th is John Mickle. 7th, Steve Whiteleg in the 66. 1 place shy of where he was in race number 1. Behind them, the back of the group, we've got Sean Smith in white and blue, and then this car, Chris Brockhurst, in the turquoise 89. This is Chris's home track, raced a lot here in Super Silhouettes back in the day with the Classic and Modern Sports Car Club. There's Bill Reid, having a good dice here with James Newberry. I think James probably ruined Bill's trip to the gravel in race number 1 as much as Bill himself did, because they were having a good battle at that time as well. Cracking race between the pair of them, and James having a look on the inside here, so Newberry going for position. Bill chops across the front of him. That will be discussed in the Kentigan later, as maybe this will be. 3 wide, and this for second place, and Paul Simmons back into second, Miles Rudman 3rd, and from second to 4th for Chris Needham. Overtaking aplenty, we've said it before, we'll say it again. More overtaking in one Legends race than you'll see in many races in Formula 1. No artificial pit stops or anything like that in Legends, just short, sharp races, plenty of overtaking, great entertainment for the fans here at Brands Hatch. Steve Whiteleg now ahead of Charlie Budd. Bump drafting at the back of the group there, Chris Brockhurst with Sean Smith trying to get past Charlie Budd. Is he going to complete that? Now it's Miles Rudman into second place, Paul Simmons 3rd. Chris Needham next up, in car with Marcus Pett at the back of the group. And Marcus again, just a gentlest of contact there, precision stuff. As they go on to the last lap, Chris Brockhurst on the outside of Charlie Budd as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. 3 wide at Paddock, very nearly, not quite 3 wide, but Sean Smith through. Marcus Pett busy having a challenge as well as he come up under the Burton Bridge. Brockhurst is on the outside run here, locks up just a little bit, will lose ground. Sean Smith past Brockhurst. Marcus Pett's going to try and go through as well, but Brockhurst has got the run, the inside line at Paddock Hill Bend, grabs that position. At the moment, I think we're going to see a change in the championship order. Will Gibson leads the race. He's climbing up in the championship standings race by race, but Miles Rudman, I think, here is going to go into the championship lead. We'll have to confirm that. It's Paul Simmons in 3rd, John Mickle right behind him. Are we going to see another run to the flag for John Mickle, but leading this one by about 3 seconds? It's Will Gibson who takes his first win of the season. Gibson wins, Rudman 2nd, and Paul Simmons, an excellent podium for him in 3rd place ahead of John Mickle. Chris Needham in 5th from Steve Whiteleg. What a tremendous race. And Will Gibson acknowledging the crowd, acknowledges Miles Rudman coming through the field as well. And those two will be top point scorers. They'll start at the back in race 3. Confirmation of the result. Gibson, Rudman, Simmons, Mickle, Needham, Steve Whiteleg, Charlie Budd 7th from Sean Smith, and Marcus Pett, who got the fastest lap. Chris Brockhurst completes the top 10. 11th goes to Mike Schlupp from Kieran Beatty. Mark Beatty next up from Nick Bridgman and Andy Bird. Ollie Schlupp, top rookie. Then Gary Whiteleg. Luke Simmons, second rookie from Ben Higgins. Luke Takashis, second finish for him in 20th. Then Jonty Norman, Bill Reid and James Newberry. Great battle between those two for 22nd and 23rd. Quite a few drivers sadly not getting to the finish. Will Gibson is already in Parc Fermé here, and he will head towards the garage for the post-race checks to be completed, and we'll catch up with him in just a mo.
Great race, you just ran off.
Yeah, it's quite rare you have a boring Legends race, but that one was quite straightforward. Yeah.
You did have the safety car earlier on with a car buried out there at Clark. You just managed to sneak into the lead up at Druids, I think it was, before the safety car came out. But did that kind of change the battle plan at all, or was it still just all guns blazing as soon as it came in?
It was just all guns blazing, get to the front and just push. Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate we were allowed to test yesterday, did some bits on the car, and yeah, it's on rails, so I'm over the moon.
Well, we speak to you again, Mr. Rudman.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously started at the back, so you had a lot of work to do then, and yeah, second is a good result for us, you know. Definitely want to be in the top 3, so it was a good race.
To come home third, I mean, wow, did you have a lot of pressure, exactly as we were talking before you went out there, but even still, what a great result.
Yeah, no, really happy with that. No, it's done well for the team, so yeah, we're happy with that.
So you did have a bit of a disruption with the safety car. Did that kind of throw your rhythm at all, or did that really make a difference?
Well, it did first of all, because you get into a little rhythm, but we settled down after that, and it was all right.
Our fuel sponsor for the event, Ricky Leggett, thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk to us. So explain to us then what revolutionary steps are going on fuel-wise for these cars.
Well, we started Solnox over 9 years ago, various things. We've got it to the point today where it just goes in as a simple additive. On petrol, it's 1,000 to 1 ratio, 1 mil of formula to 1 litre of fuel. I did a test on my own Legends car. I saw a 20% reduction in COs straight away, 30% more lubricity on the fuel. So I approached Phil, and we're getting the Legends greener.
In a world where these sort of things are particularly important, with obviously worldwide events going on making fuel more difficult, that's got to feel really good that you're making a real positive impact on Legends. What's the sort of longer term prospect then for Solnox and other forms of motorsport?
Solnox has been testing on shipping and everything. We've just been passed by Lloyd's Register that now our formula is sanctioned to be used any ship in the world on any fuel. We've also been passed by Bureau Veritas that our additives do not take the fuel out the parameters of the EM590 regs, E10 regs, etc. like that. And we've shown emissions reduction, the lubricity, fuel savings, you know, so and the ratios we're mixing. In diesel, we'll put 0.5 mil in 1 litre of diesel.
When the time is right, you'll be piloting one of these. What drew you to the Legends?
I've been involved in Legends about 9 years now. Met John Mickle and saw the cars. I'd already seen them on TV, and I was hooked, you know, before. Then I got one. Been racing. Unfortunately, I've had an injury on my back, so I've had to miss this weekend and Alton. We'll see how we go for the next round. But there's nothing better to drive than a Legend, that's for sure. So competitive, such nice guys to race with. What more can you say about it?
In-car view from Will Gibson at the back of the grid, having been second top point scorer on the round so far. Miles Rubman tops the points on the day so far by 15 points from Will Gibson. Front of the grid, Daniel Budd, Jonty Norman, Daniel Clark, Gary Whiteleg, Andy Bird and Chris Brockhurst. And we go Legends cars racing from the 4th row. Nathan Anthony in yellow and blue makes a good start. He's up into 5th. Jonty Norman round the outside of Daniel Budd to take the lead. Daniel Clark 3rd. Make that 4th now, because as we ride on board with Will Gibson, Chris Needham on the inside, Miles Rudman top point scorer to his outside, and it's Jonty Norman leading now with Nathan Anthony in 2nd, 3 wide at Druids, and it's Steve outside leg, Whiteleg, who's trying to make up some places there. So Jonty Norman the leader from Nathan Anthony. The rookies and gentlemen drivers at the back of the grid making their way through as best they can. We've got some Dustin detritus there and a chain reaction in the field. Knocking up of brakes, cars every which way. Daniel Pulley on 2 wheels. Now this is going to take a while to make sense of. We've got Will Gibson and Miles Rudman at the back out. Mike Schlupp very definitely ground to a halt. Bill Reid and Kieran Beatty immediately in front of us, 2 orange-looking cars. The red machine of Steve Whiteleg gets going, and Nathan Anthony just getting out of the Savannah. So I think the start of that was Nathan Anthony tangling with Jonty Norman for the lead. Sean Smith parked up as well. Correct decision from race control, red flags, cars on track. Bill Reid gets going again, thank goodness, let's hope the car is okay. Kieran Beatty looks like he's going to need assistance. out of shot now as the Trust House 333 car limps round to the grid. Daniel Pulley looks like he is okay, although the car may not be, having two-wheeled it. On board for Chris Brockhurst, you can see the two leaders tangling and going off into the barriers on Cooper Straight. And it was behind them, there was a chain reaction. Watch for that in front of us, on board from Marcus Pett, leaders. And there we are, cars going into each other. And just a chain reaction, I think, from the two leaders going off. And there was detritus all over, up in the air and all over the track. Will Gibson involved as well. Went into the back of another car, not going to do his new machine any favours. And there are the erstwhile two leaders in the distance. Now, John T. Norman's got going. I don't think Nathan Anthony has got going. Miles Rudman and Will Gibson chasing the overall round win in this race are going to be grateful that there was a red flag, because they will get to start again. So the car's on the grid. Miles Rudman is in pit lane and will start from the pits, which doesn't do a huge amount for his round points. So the pace car into pit lane, rolling start with this time Daniel Clark on pole position. In car with Will Gibson a little bit further back, John Mickle still there. Remember, Miles Rudman starting from pit lane, so effectively I guess he's going to count Miles out of the overall round win. So Daniel Clark and Chris Brockhurst, Andy Bird and Nick Bridgman on row 2. Bridgman does a bit of bump drafting off the start up into P2 in blue, and it's Chris Brockhurst that leads. Andy Bird down to, I think, 5th position. Mark Beatty goes round his outside. Then it's Sean Smith in the blue and white 21 car making up positions as well. Good to see Andy Bird on the grid, but I think he'll feel he has work to do on that car as Chris Brockhurst is challenged by Nick Bridgman for the race lead. Brockhurst on the inside as they go down Graham Hill. We come into the left-hander. Brockhurst, oh, looks a little bit squirrely there. That will lose speed, and Nick Bridgman's through. On the outside, they were giving each other room, and Nick Bridgman's got the lead in race 3 here at Brands Hatch. Into Surtees, Bridgman the leader, Brockhurst second, Sean Smith up into 3rd place, 4th is Daniel Clark, and 5th is Mark Beatty. In car with Will Gibson, making good progress here, makes a pass. Next target is going to be Mark Beatty, so Gibson up towards the front. It's a good run from him and a terrific run from Nick Bridgman, who is the race leader. This for 2nd position. Sean Smith was in 2nd, Chris Brockhurst goes P2. John Nichols going to try and grab that from him on the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. Sean Smith, Mark Beatty, Will Gibson in behind as well. Down from Paddock Hill, up Halewoods Hill now, into Druids. Brockhurst on the outside. Here is the race leader though. Bridgman starting off the front. If you don't have the best of races 1 and 2, you get the opportunity to start off the front or towards the front in race 3. Remember, it's the top point scorer on the day that wins the round, not the winner of this race. Although it's tempting to call it a final, it's actually race 3, and Will Gibson is the man who is chasing the points victory. He's 15 down on Miles Rudman. Rudman starting from pit lane, and he's making progress. Contact there on Andy Bird from Ollie Schlupp. Inadvertent from Ollie, I'm sure. Andy is off the track, back on the track very quickly indeed. Rejoins. This is the battle for the lead. John Mickle to the outside as they head into Paddock. We've seen quite a few passes done this way. Bridgman has good momentum but leaves the door open here. John's got the run up the inside as they go into Druids, and Mickle takes the lead here. Bridgman down to 2nd. Still a good drive from Nick Bridgman. He's got used over the years to soaking up the pressure, starting off the front in race 3. And that's how you learn in Legends cars. Chris Brockhurst still in 3rd, Sean Smith in 4th place, and in car with Marcus Pett, who is challenging Miles Rudman. That number 1 car started from pit lane, having a super run on the inside here of Charlie Budd in the 44. Charlie having a good meeting, and through. Inside run for Miles Rudman, he's got his head down. Marcus Pett busy chasing him. Then Daniel Clark dropping back, not looking very happy. Paul Simmons, podium finisher earlier on, to his inside. Now look at Nick Bridgman here, hasn't been left by John Mickle at all. This is great driving from John, obviously getting into the lead, but really good to see Nick Bridgman up with the front runners and not losing any ground. Will Gibson's up to 4th now, challenging for 3rd. He looks on the inside of Sean Smith. Sean grabs the line going into Druids. Chris Brockhurst next up, Chris Needham, then Miles Rudman. Mark Beatty in the mix ahead of Marcus Pett. Pett side by side with Charlie Budd. Charlie going through on the inside, and now looks like Marcus Pett's going to come back. Meanwhile, up ahead, Will Gibson on the inside of Sean Smith to get a wheel on the podium, which he manages to do. So Gibson from the back, slightly less cars starting on track. Daniel Clark coming under pressure from Luke Simmons, son of Paul, one of the rookies. I think this might be Luke Simmons' last race as a rookie. He's finished all of his races thus far, and will therefore go into the main draw next time out. Great racing between Simmons and Steve Whiteleg, and this is Will Gibson up into second place, past Nick Bridgman. Nick again still on pace with these guys, and racing Will Gibson, trying to get back at him. John Mickle the leader, Will Gibson second, and then Nick Bridgman in a very encouraging third position at the moment along Cooper Straight. Sean Smith is next, then Miles Rudman from pit lane, incredible drive hand out to the window for Nick Bridgman. Bridgman is going to retire, goes straight on back to the pits. That is such a shame. Nick Bridgman was driving superbly well and on for a potential podium. In car with Marcus Pett, that's Mark Beatty in front of us in the Park Lane Cars Coupe. Across the line goes Sean Smith and Miles Rudman. Trademark Rudman move, bump drafting along the straight, picks up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend and goes through. Then it's Chris Needham who's going to be a good point scorer today as well. Marcus Pett is in behind them. Smith trying to come back at Rudman, but it's still Will Gibson chasing John Mickle for the race lead. Down through Graham Hill Bend they go. Steve Whiteleg passing Paul Simmons, and then down behind them Ollie Schlupp in the number 9 car, dicing with Luke Simmons, the black and green car, second in the rookies. It's not necessarily a class that's recognised in the championship. It is in the overall championship. We'll have a rookie champion at the end of the year, but we'd like to keep an eye on how the first year drivers are doing as Will Gibson tees up for the race lead here. I thought he might bump draft John, but decides he's got the run anyway, goes to the outside into Paddock Hill Bend, and the 57 car is in the lead for the second time at the moment. Will Gibson will take the points victory here because he's several cars clear of Miles Rudman. The gap was 15 points between the two of them. Rudman is in third place, and if Miles Rudman can catch and pass John Mickle, then it will be a tie on points if they stay like this towards the end of the day. And then we have to look at countback for positions gained over the course of all three races to determine who has won the day. Marcus Pett is out of the race. The man second in the championship coming into Brands Hatch has got a problem. Big shame for him. It's been another quick day up to now, but Pett is out of the race as we watch Ollie Schlupp coming under pressure from Paul Simmons. Simmons Jr. is in behind as well. And now across the line goes Will Gibson from John Mickle, and John's having a go for the lead, looks high and wide into Paddock Hill Bend, and that leaves the door open for Miles Rudman to go through. Rudman up into second place. It means that first, if they stay like this, it will be a tie on the day. The tie-breaker, as I said, is the number of places gained over the three races, and Miles Rudman, I'm going to have to get my abacus out to work that for sure. It may not finish that way because John Mickle is going to go down the inside and have a look for second position. Can't do it at the moment. He's got Chris Needham in his mirrors as well. I tell you what, Will Gibson might have thought that he would have this all his own way with Miles Rudman starting from pit lane, but the reigning champion has reeled him in. He's carved his way through the field. Meticulous racing. Andy Bird involved and racing with Luke Takushis, having a third finish. Luke actually up in 13th place at the moment, so a good debut weekend for Luke, sharing that car with former champion Lee Fitzpatrick onto the last lap, and it's Will Gibson who is the leader from Miles Rudman, then John Mickle. It could go any way of three now, and I thought that Miles Rudman was going to look at the inside. John Mickle wants the lead as well, goes to the outside and through into the lead goes Miles Rudman. Miles Rudman wanted to put his stamp on this last race to take the overall round win, and he's gone into the lead. Gibson down to second, and look at Chris Needham side by side with John Mickle for third place. Mickle's got the inside though into Surtees, will reclaim third place, but what timing by Miles Rudman coming through from a pit lane start. I remind you, he goes through clearways, out of the Clark curve onto the Brabham straight for the last time, and will seal the round win. Although, having said that, now Will Gibson's going for it. Gibson wins it on the line. Goodness me, it looked like it was Miles Rudman's race, and Will Gibson came through to take the checker. And another photo finish here in the Legends Cars final. Luke Takashis and Andy Bird racing it out here for 13th and 14th position, and it was Will Gibson. Never ever ever say never for Will Gibson, who came. What a race between those two. If this continues, it's going to be a fantastic year. Gibson from Rudman, Mickle and Needham, Sean Smith 5th from Charlie Budd and Steve Whiteleg, Chris Brockhurst 8th. Top rookie was Ollie Schlupp. Paul Simmons completing the top 10. 11th was Luke Simmons from Gary Whiteleg and Luke Takashis. Then it was Andy Bird and Matthew Knight, Daniel Budd 16th from John T. Norman and Ben Higgins. The overall points today, we're being told, has gone to Miles Rudman, but Will Gibson takes the win.
Goodness me, you had to work hard for that, didn't you?
Yeah, it's not good being out in front. As you see, you were sitting duck and they just come and got me, and they couldn't do nothing really. It's a shame on the first restart. It was just got safety car and carry on, and they restarted it, but it's up to them.
True enough, but wow, I mean, you had such a great fight with the 4 or 5 cars involved in that particular fight. Were you worried at all that you were going to succumb to the pressure from the 99 behind you?
Yeah, the quick steel number 4 hasn't got the legs today. The engine seemed to be a bit slow. We'll have to put that right for tomorrow. But we've done the best of what we got, so tomorrow's another day.
You felt that one, didn't you? You really had to work for that, literally last corner, last lap, and less than a blink of an eye between you.
Yeah, that was hard. Crash on the first lap to winning the race. I mean, hats off to Miles coming from the pit lane, but bloody hell, that was one hell of a race.
I mean, it was 5 of you all just jostling for position right at the end there. Again, you like you did in round 2. You must have just been constantly feeling those eyes bearing down on you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do something about the eyes on Miles' car, because they don't look very good in the mirror. They're quite intimidating. But yeah, that was brilliant. I'm absolutely over the moon. Just big thanks to, again, all our sponsors, Blue Sky CAD, TWG, Black House. Thanks to Scott, Janine, the old man, Den, everybody that came and helped us rebuild this car. It's a bloody rocket ship. I'm well happy.
A tie on points, but the silverware goes to Miles Rudman on overtaking. Countback from Will Gibson. John Mickle 3rd from Chris Needham and Steve Whiteleg. Sean Smith in 6th position. Let's hear from round winner, Miles Rudman.
Event number 2 winner by not even a point, a single overtake, which highlights how close this season is. Miles Rudman, Struth alive. That's, I think it's fair to say you're having to work to hold on to your championship.
Yeah, I mean, as it always is with the Legends cars, you know, it's very close, and to finish on the podium with an extra overtake was. Yeah, it was close, and I don't think it gets any closer than that. So I mean, overall, it's been a good day, and yeah, we're glad that we're on the top step.
And some of your finishes were less than a 1/10 of a second apart from the event as a whole. Goodness me! I mean, does that the fact that you're having to really work hard, does that change your attitude or your approach for the season? Do you look backwards any more than you normally would?
No, we're always looking forward, always working hard, and yeah, we're always trying to get the best positions we can. Obviously, we want to be in the top 3 as much as we can, but you know, a win's better. But yeah, we're just doing our best all the time.
And Miles Rudman tops the championship as we head into day 2 here at Brands Hatch. John Mickle 2nd from Sean Smith and Steve Whiteleg. Will Gibson leapfrogs into the top 10 in 5th position from Chris Needham. Join us next time for more action from Brands Hatch.